in listen-only mode.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Janic Gorayeb, and I'm the Health Information Specialist with Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is our very first webinar in our healthcare professional webinar series, so we're very excited to have everybody online with us from actually all across the country. We have some representation from almost all the provinces, so it's very exciting for us. So just a few logistics before we get started. Everyone has been muted so that we don't have any background noise during the recording of the webinar, which also means that this webinar will be available on our website to view again. So if your colleagues were unable to attend today, they can view it at a later time. Also, to participate, for instance, to ask a question during the webinar, you may do so in the chat window, which is on the right-hand side of your screen. We will answer all the questions at the end of the webinar, and if we don't get to your question, we will follow up with an email directly after the webinar. We'll also have a few polling questions throughout the presentation, so you'll have an opportunity to vote and provide us some more feedback. And my colleague Tanya Gianellia, Research and Education Specialist with Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada, is here with me today to help us out with those poll questions. So if by some chance you hear another voice, that might be Tanya's voice in the background. And lastly, there may be some questions that I ask directly to the audience, such as show me a raise of hands if you know about a particular resource or program. And so just to test that out, you'll see on the right-hand side a little picture or icon of a raised hand. If everyone could please just click on that to make sure that that's working for you, and we will get started in a moment. Perfect. We see a bunch of raised hands, so that's great. So let's get started. So the goals of the webinar today is really to provide and enhance insight into Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada's programs and services. It's also to learn more about resources available for patients, families, and healthcare professionals through Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada. And it's also to increase comfort in speaking about Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada to anyone affected by a brain tumor. So we're going to get started actually with our very first poll question, and this is to get an idea as to who is online with us right now. So Tanya's going to post that first question for you. And if you could please choose one of the following. If you are a healthcare professional, a volunteer, a family member or friend, a patient or survivor, or other. And we'll just give everybody a moment to answer that. Okay, and we will show the results in just one moment as everybody's still answering that question. Great. So it looks like the majority of people online are healthcare professionals, which is great because this is the audience that this has been targeted for. So just a follow-up question to that regarding your primary role as a healthcare professional. Are you a physician? Are you a nurse, a social worker, an occupational therapist, physiotherapist, or speech-language pathologist, or other? And our apologies, we only had five options for answers there. So we'll give everybody a moment to answer those questions as well, that question as well, to give us an idea as to who's online here today. Great. So it looks like about 47% of you are nurses and 16% are social workers, which is great. It's actually we're not too surprised actually as to the audience because it is really mostly social workers and nurses that do talk about us to their patients and families within their organizations. So once again, thank you for taking those poll questions. So this page here is our landing page on the www.braintumor.ca website. It's our home page. And here you're going to find a wealth of information for both patients and families as well as for yourself as healthcare professionals. Our mission for Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada is to reach every person in Canada affected by a brain tumor through support, education, information, and research. And this is really an example of the 4 pillars of our organization. We're located in London, Ontario. We are the head office and the only office in Canada. And you'll see on the right-hand side of this homepage of our website, I am a healthcare professional. So if you were actually on our website and you clicked on that, that would take you to this page, which is an overview of all of our programs and services, our websites, our webinars, our workshops. This is where you can order a healthcare professional kit, which is a small box of all of our resources available to patients and families and healthcare professionals. And you can also learn more about our professional boards available to healthcare professionals. So we will encourage you to please visit our website in more detail when you have some time. And just a little history of Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada. You'll see a photo on the left here of Steve Nordy, as well as Pamela Del Maestro, a retired neuroscience nurse, and Dr. Rolando Del Maestro, a retired neurosurgeon. These are our co-founders of Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada. We celebrated our 30th anniversary last year. And the foundation began with basically Steve Nordy and the Del Maestros sitting around the kitchen table after Steve Nordy's daughter Kelly, at the age of 8, had been diagnosed with a brain tumor, and unfortunately had passed away with the brain tumor within a year after her diagnosis. So at that time, there was really no information, no support available to patients and families. So the 3 of them around the Del Maestros kitchen table basically started Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada. And the 3 of them are still very much involved with us, with the organization. So let's do our 3rd poll question, and it's just to get an idea as to how many people you think on a yearly basis are diagnosed with a brain tumor. Do you think it's 10,000, 25,000, 50,000, 100,000, or maybe you're not sure? So we'll give everybody a moment to answer that question. Great. So it looks like the majority of you have chosen answer number 1, which is 10,000, which is correct. So that's great. We do know that 55,000 Canadians are surviving with a brain tumor, with approximately 10,000 newly diagnosed each year. And this is a statistic from CABTO, which is the Canadian Alliance for Brain Tumor Organizations, which is an advocacy group. And we are a member of CABTO, so this organization advocates on behalf of the brain tumor population across the country. And so with the statistics, we know that every day 27 Canadians are diagnosed with a brain tumor. We do need to mention, though, that currently the Canadian medical system does not track statistics on primary brain tumors very well. There's a complete and accurate data is needed to facilitate the research that will lead to a better understanding of this disease and improve diagnosis and treatment. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Canadian Brain Tumour Registry that we have initiated here at Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada. We also know there are about 120 different types of brain tumors, making effective treatment very complicated, and that the most common type of brain tumor is a glioblastoma multiforme, also known as a GBM, is also the most malignant, and the average survival, even after aggressive treatment, is less than 1 year. As well, that brain tumors are the leading cause of solid cancer death in children under the age of 20, now surpassing acute lymphoblastic leukemia. And they are the 3rd leading cause of solid cancer death in young adults ages 20 to 39. So we're going to use our little chat section of the webinar here. If you can type in when you think Brain Tumor Awareness Month is. Give everybody just a moment to type in the chat area. No guesses? All right, we've got some guesses for October and we've got some guesses for September. So October is Brain Tumor Awareness Month. And like any other awareness month, our goal is to raise awareness about brain tumors and funds for support, education, information, and research. We have many events that are organized through Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada, as well as many third-party events that occur throughout the country. And we really do encourage everybody on the webinar today to maybe plan something for October and let us know if you require any resources, such as posters or brochures as well. And so information services, this is one of the pillars of our mission statement, and it's a very big part of our organization. Here you'll see a photo of our current adult brain tumor handbook and pediatric brain tumor handbook. And this is where I'd like to maybe see a show of hands as to who on the webinar today has seen these handbooks or currently uses the handbooks to distribute to patients and families. So if you can just click on that raised hand if you've seen this before. So we've got a few people. Great. So this is our 6th edition of our brain tumor handbooks, and we just launched this edition last year. We distributed over 45 adult English handbooks and over 1,200 pediatric handbooks across the country with really a lot of help from you, the healthcare professionals, so we do thank you for that. So the 6th edition includes a lot more information, including complementary and alternative medicines, sexuality in teens, fertility, information on brain fitness. We have a larger glossary of terms, and we have much, much more. So these handbooks are available free within Canada, and they are available in boxes of 15 that we can send out to you, to your units or your organizations to distribute across the country and to your patients and families once the person's been diagnosed. We also have our Non-Malignant Brain Tumour Handbook, which was launched in 2011, and we've distributed over 2,000 across the country since that launch. This is a very unique resource to not only Canada but internationally. This was a resource that we created after we realized that there weren't a lot of resources for patients diagnosed with a non-malignant or low-grade tumor. So we did a survey across the country to ask those survivors what kind of information they received or what kind of support they received after the diagnosis. And it was very interesting to get very similar responses across the survey. And that was there was really no information for them, and that they didn't get a lot of support by either people in their life, their family members, their friends, or comments that other people would make about having non-malignant brain tumor. So we wanted to create that awareness and let people know that a non-malignant tumor can be just as serious as a malignant tumor. So this resource as well is available free within Canada, and it doesn't come in boxes of 15, but you can order up to 10 at a time. We also have our children's storybook. It's called A Friend in Hope, and we also have one en français, which is Mon Ami Claire, and in Italian, La Mia Amica Speranza. The Friend in Hope book was created in 2004, and although this is a book specifically created for children diagnosed with a brain tumor, we do have a lot of adults who have been diagnosed with a brain tumor who ordered this resource themselves so that they can explain to their children about brain tumors. This storybook is also free within Canada, and I also want to note that all of our handbooks as well as our storybooks are not only available free as a hardcover, but also they're available electronically through our website. We also have our education program, which is the second pillar of our mission. And this page here is the Information Day page on our website. And this is a list you'll see on the left-hand side of cities of where we're going to be hosting a half-day or a full-day Information Day program. So you'll see we'll be doing one in Moncton, Edmonton, Ottawa, Halifax. We'll be sponsoring the one in Vancouver that's hosted by BC Cancer Agency. We also will have one in Saskatoon, Calgary, and in London. The Information Days are a day of hope and support to patients, caregivers, and survivors by providing the opportunity to connect with others on their journey with a brain tumor, as well as to connect with healthcare professionals in the top of the field of neuroscience and oncology. You will also see at the top of that page winter webinars. We have 4 webinars that are planned this year, 2 specifically for caregivers and 2 specifically for parents whose child has been diagnosed with a brain tumor. And I'll give you some more information at the end of this webinar on that. Also, we have a variety of newsletters and updates that our constituents can sign up for free. We have our healthcare professional electronic newsletter, which currently is distributed to over 1,000 healthcare professionals across the country, and this is emailed bi-monthly. This newsletter is really created for you, our healthcare professionals, to update you on research, programs, new resources that will benefit you as a healthcare professional, but also to your patients and families. We also have our Brainstorm newsletter. We have it printed twice a year, and we have the electronic newsletter that is sent out 10 times a year. We have our Supporting You newsletter for anybody that's part of our support group program that provides various articles on how to take care of yourself as a caregiver as well as a patient. We have regular updates from our blog called Courage and Hope. We also have some advocacy updates, and we also have Spring Sprint 2013 alerts. These newsletters really offer personal stories and information about advances in research, coming events, opportunities to learn from and gain information, support, in the many ways that you can help. So our other pillar is our support services program. We have 2 social workers on staff who manage the support groups across the country. Here you'll see a list of cities that are available, support group cities as to where we have our support groups, across the country. This is an opportunity for friends and patients and families and survivors to meet monthly across the country and share their concerns, fears, and their hopes and their dreams in a safe, supportive, and environment. The support groups are for adults only, and they are all led by trained volunteer facilitators and occasionally may have a guest speaker to discuss specific topics related to a brain tumor diagnosis, treatment, coping strategies, and maybe some complementary therapies. The goal is really to provide an opportunity for people with a brain tumor and their families and friends to share experiences and to address personal issues and gain emotional support, really like any support group that anybody would attend anywhere across the country. We also have on the bottom of the screen there our one-on-one support and information line, our 1-800 number, which is open Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, where people can contact us for support as well as for information. And so for those people who are unable to attend a support group or maybe have some mobility or transportation issues to attend a support group, or maybe they don't want to attend a support group because it's not, it's really not for everybody. We also have our online support and a very strong presence within social media. So we have what's called our online peer support center. And this is really to gain access to an active group of brain tumor community message boards. To take a look around, people can post questions and answer questions and to get support in a different way. Might be able to get connected with people via email or via the internet. We also have our Facebook page, so if you are on Facebook, please like us. And if you are on Twitter, we also have a very strong presence on Twitter, so if you are on Twitter, please follow us. And we also have our YouTube page, where we post videos from events, as well as some of our PSAs that we've had done, and from a variety of events. We also have our Courage and Hope blog, which is fairly new to the organization. And on this blog, people can share their story and read other people's stories and comments, and once again get support in a different way. Also within our support program is our Brainwave program. So just maybe another show of hands, who maybe in BC and Ontario or anywhere else in Canada has heard of Brainwave, which is really a program for children under the age of 19 who have been diagnosed. So a few people have heard of this program, which is great. So this is basically happening in Lower Mainland BC and Southwestern Ontario, and within each area, geographic area, we have 4 events a year. They're really social events. It's a time for respite for the children to get together and to meet other people who are going through the same thing. And it's also a time for the families to have some respite and to connect with other families. So once again, like any of the information that we're presenting today, if you would like more information around these programs, we are happy to send you more information on that. And the last pillar of our mission is research. Research is a very important part of Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada. Here you'll see Dr. Joe Legacy. He is the current president of our board of directors, and he also sits on our research committee. Within our research program, we have our research grant program, which is basically a program that supports brain tumor research in Canada to help us gain both a better understanding of the disease and to move closer to finding new treatments and improving current treatments, and also to help enhance the quality of life of brain tumor patients. So we do a call for applications to the research grant program every year. and it is closed for this year, but we will be making announcements in April as to who our research grant recipients are, and each research grant recipient will receive up to $25,000 each. We also have our fellowship program, which, thanks to the generosity of donors, researchers across Canada are eligible for 2 research fellowship opportunities through the William Donald Nash Brain Tumor Research Fellowship and the Richard Motika Brain Tumor Research Fellowship as well. And new this year, we have our research studentships. This is for first-year medical students and second-year undergraduate science students pursuing an honors Bachelor of Science degree, and they're invited to apply to Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada for this research studentship. This opportunity will allow students to become more familiar with the brain tumor research field and its research methods. And then we also have our Brain Tumor Tissue Bank, which is located at University Hospital here in London, Ontario. And the Tissue Bank was founded in 1991, and the Tissue Bank provides brain tumor samples and matches clinical data for neuro-oncology and neuroscience research conducted in Canada and around the world. And I mentioned earlier the Brain Tumour Registry, which once again, this is a new program that we have initiated here at Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada. Over the next 5 years, Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada will lead the development of the Canadian Brain Tumour Registry, and it's Canada's first and only complete collection of brain tumor data. So we've relied on data in the past from a variety of American as well as Canadian data resources to guide Canadian research. However, we know that this data is incomplete because, as an example, there are provincial registries across the country, provincial cancer registries across the country that keep track of malignant brain tumors, but they don't necessarily keep track of non-malignant brain tumors. So we're hoping that with this registry, we will have more accurate data and Canadian statistics about brain tumors available. And this is going to help us accelerate our advocacy efforts to ensure equal access to drugs and treatments and services for all brain tumor patients. Canadian Association for Nurses of Oncology, or the Canadian Association of Psychosocial Oncology, we provide a $1,500 professional award to a CAN, CANO, and CAPO member. So if some of you are online right now during the webinar, for this webinar, and are a CAN, CANO, and CAPO healthcare professional and are not part of these organizations, we really encourage you to join them because they really do have a wealth of information at their conferences. And it's also an opportunity to potentially receive a $1,500 professional award if your abstract and presentation is chosen at each of these conferences. So I mentioned that our office is here in London, Ontario. We are the only office in the country, so we really rely on volunteers to help us with a variety of our programs and services. We do have more than 700 volunteers from across the country that contribute every year by sharing their time and energy. I mentioned earlier the support groups, which are all run by volunteer facilitators as an example. And we also have opportunities for you as healthcare professionals. We have what's called a professional advisory group, which consists of a multidisciplinary group of healthcare professionals who volunteer their knowledge and expertise to Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada on an as-needed basis. These individuals are called upon when medical knowledge is required or when information must be verified for accuracy. So I mentioned earlier as well we have our 1-800 number, and we provide support and information through that 1-800 number, as well as through various emails that we may receive from constituents. We don't provide medical advice because we're not healthcare professionals here at the foundation, but if somebody does send us a question that is a specific medical question that we don't have information on, we may refer to the professional advisory group, the PAG, to maybe provide us some guidance. We may call on the PAG members to help us write an article or maybe speak at one of our conferences. So once again, if you're looking for a volunteer opportunity, this might be a good match for you. We also have our support facilitators and conveners for our support groups. And I know that there's some people currently online from Winnipeg. We do have a current need to find a volunteer to facilitate our Winnipeg support group. And I know that there's also some healthcare professionals online from Ontario here. And so we are looking for a co-facilitator for the London support group and a convener for both the Guelph and Sarnia support group. So once again, if these are any opportunities, if any of these opportunities are of interest to you, please let me know. Send me an email, or you can post a question on the chat board, and we can follow up with you right after the webinar. And so we'll start wrapping up the webinar here. We'll talk a little bit about our Spring Sprint program, which is our largest fundraising program across the country. Here's a list of all the cities that will be hosting a Spring Sprint this year, and the very first one is here in London on April 20th, and the last one is in Saskatoon on June 9th. I would really encourage everybody to visit www.springsprint.ca. We want to try to challenge our healthcare professionals to maybe collaborate and come up with some teams within your hospitals or your organizations, and maybe have a little healthy competition between the other hospitals. Last year we raised $1.5 million with over 5,500 participants. So for those of you here in Ontario, maybe the healthcare professionals at University Hospital can challenge those at Victoria Hospital, or those of you listening in from Alberta, maybe the Tom Baker Cancer Center can challenge the Cross Cancer Institute. A little healthy competition. So for our very last poll for today, we are just curious as to what you might do after this webinar to gain more information about Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada, or to maybe engage with us a little bit more. So after this webinar, and you can choose more than one answer, will you refer patients and families to Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada? Will you order a healthcare professional kit? Maybe sign up for electronic healthcare professional newsletter, register for more healthcare professional webinars, or maybe register for Spring Sprint? So we've got a good mix of answers, so that's great. We'll just wait one more minute, give everybody an opportunity to vote. Great. So that's wonderful. We have a great lots of answers there, so that's wonderful. Good variety. Thank you for doing that for us. So what can you do to help as healthcare professionals? As I mentioned before, you can refer patients and families to Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada for support and information. You can register for more healthcare professional webinars to learn more about brain tumors. So as I mentioned earlier in the webinar, this is just the first of 10 healthcare professional webinars that we have across throughout the calendar year. And we have a variety of speakers and topics that will be presented on. Please talk to your patients and families about our support groups. You can register for the Healthcare Professional electronic newsletter to keep up to date on brain tumor information, news, and research. Maybe attend one of our Information Day conferences in your city to learn and to network, or if you're interested in speaking at one of our events, please let us know. You can volunteer as a professional advisory group member to help us update our resources, write articles, or provide advice on brain tumor-related issues. Or you can register as a team for your local Spring Sprint. We also have the Spring Sprint available virtually, so if there isn't a Spring Sprint in your city, you can participate that way as well. And as I mentioned earlier, we also have 4 webinars this year for caregivers as well as parents. So you'll see here those dates. We have Maureen Daniels, the coordinator of the Jerry and Nancy Pincer Brain Tumor Center, who will be providing a webinar to caregivers on February 9th as well as on February 23rd. And we have David Brownstone from Sick Kids providing a presentation for parents on March 9th, and Dr. Sharon Guger from Sick Kids on March 23rd. I also want to remind everybody that not only these webinars for caregivers and parents, but also the webinars for the healthcare professionals across the year are being recorded and will be available on our website for further viewing. So I want to thank everybody for your participation, for taking time during your lunch hour or maybe during your work day to join us today. And once again, my name is Janic, and you can email me at jgorayeb@braintumor.ca if you have any questions or if you'd like to order some resources. And for those of you, we'll check if there's any questions. Any questions? No, we don't have any questions right now, but maybe we'll give you one moment to type in any questions that you may have. Oh, it doesn't look like anybody has any questions. So thank you so much, and we really appreciate your time, and have a great day, everybody.